All right, so far we have solved systems of equations using a table where we just looked at it and we found a point that was in both of the tables. We've solved them by graphing, where we found the point where they crossed each other, and we solved by substitution, where we kind of plugged one equation into the other one. Okay, today we're going to look at solving systems by elimination, and we're going to specifically talk about cases where you don't have to multiply anything. Okay, so these are kind of the easier cases, and then the next time that we talk about elimination, we'll talk about the ones where you do have to multiply something. Okay, so when we solve by elimination, okay, the goal of elimination is you want to eliminate one variable. Okay, so you want to get rid of one of your variables so that you only have one left. Okay, so what your steps are going to be, step one, we're not actually going to do today, but we are going to put it in our list of steps. Okay, so step one is we're going to multiply one equation so that one variable has the same number, or coefficient is a fancy word, with the opposite sign. Okay, now we're not going to do that today because we've already got that set up, right? Take a look at this example. See how the x's, they both have 2's in front of them, but one's positive and one's negative? That's what you want to have happen for elimination. And in this example, see how the y's, they both have 3's in front and one's positive and one's negative? That's it. That's what we want to have happen. So for today, step one is already going to be done for you. Okay. Step number two is we are going to add the equations so that the variable, cancels. I started writing variable again. Okay, so we're going to add the equation so that the variables cancel. Okay. So let's take a look at this guy. So here's what we're going to do. Remember how when you learned how to add, when you had something like 124 plus 315, right? And you just added the things that go straight up and down. So like 4 plus 5 is 9, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, right? You just add straight up and down. That's exactly what we're doing here. Okay, so we are just going to add straight up and down. So negative 2x and positive 2x, those cancel each other out. They eliminate each other. Okay, that's why we call it elimination. 3y plus 1y is 4y. Keep that equal sign in the same spot. And then 20 plus 4 is 24. Okay, so we added the equations together. One variable canceled. Now we're going to solve this equation. That's no big deal. You know how to do that, right? It's a little baby one. Just divide both sides by 4. And we end up with y equals 6. Okay, great. And now the nice thing is that from here, now we just finish it the same way that we did with substitution. So all those things that you learned how to do with substitution, we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, so the next step is that we're going to plug whatever the answer that we got is into the other, so plug our answer into the other equation and solve. So I got y equals 6. I'm going to go back and plug that into one of these two equations. It doesn't actually matter which one. You can choose whichever one looks easier to you. I don't know. I think maybe I'm going to go with the bottom one because there's no number in front of the y. Doesn't really matter though. So it's going to be negative 2x and then plus, and then I'm replacing the y with the 6 that we got as our answer, equals 4. So that's this equation right here, but I replaced the y with a 6. And then we're just going to solve this. You know how to solve this, right? Subtract 6 from both sides. So I'm going to get negative 2x equals 4 buckets of water, 6 fires, 2 fires left over. And then I'm going to divide by negative 2. So x equals positive 1. Excellent. And then our last step is that we're going to write our answer as a point. Okay, and remember your point is always x and then y. So you really got to just make sure you pay attention because sometimes it'll be this one first and then this one. Sometimes it'll be this one and then this one. So you just got to make sure you pay attention to your alphabet. So this one, x first, then y. There's my solution. Okay, so that's not too bad. So let's try that again with the next one. So this guy, right, I've already got it set up where the y's have the same number 3 in front of them, but one positive and one negative. And then I'm going to add straight up and down. 2x plus x is 3x. These guys cancel. And then 15 plus 3 is 18. Okay, we know how to solve that, right? I want to get the x by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So x equals 6. And now that I've got that answer, go back and plug it into either one of your equations. It doesn't matter which one. I think I'm going to use the second one again, just because it looks, I don't know, it looks a little easier to me. So I'm plugging in 6 for x, so it's going to be 6, and then minus 3y equals 3. So that's this equation here, but I replaced the x with a 6. All right, and now we're just going to solve this. So I want to get the y by itself, so I'm going to subtract 6 first. That leaves me with negative 3y, 3 buckets of water, and 6 fires. You're going to have 3 fires left over. And then divide both sides by negative 3. Y is positive 1. Okay, and then again, make sure that you write your answer x and then y. So like on this one, it was this number first and then that one. But here we solve for x first. So this time my answer is going to be this number and then that number. Weirdly, they both happen to be 6s and 1s, just in a different order. That's a coincidence. That doesn't always happen. Okay, so you just want to make sure you go alphabetically. So these guys had to go first because they were the x's. All right, and then just a side note, your special cases are the same. So we talked about special cases with substitution where if all your variables canceled out. If that were to happen here, if like all the x's and the y's canceled out, you would just have to look at your equation and say, okay, well, is what's left over true or is it false? If it's true, infinite solutions. If it's false, no solutions. Okay, so this is the basics of elimination. We're going to do, next time we do a new topic, we're going to add in having to actually do this first step here. Okay, but for today, they should be pretty okay for you.